Well, welcome to Flashback Monday, where we talk about everything, all the books in this Romantic Times book review magazine. We're up to September 2013. Oh, the horror. The horror. We're almost done. I need to think of something else to do for Flashback Monday before it's too late. We've only got 3 years left. And if you haven't seen last week's Flashback Monday, you need to check out August 2013's Flashback Monday because there's several books, but there's one book in particular that was featured that is still in demand today. It's a hot series today. It's a very hot series. And the people are buying this book off the shelves. So it still exists. It's still relevant. These books are still relevant. People still read them. It is just awesome. So, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina K-R-S-T. INA. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, no fancy shanty stuff going on here. What you see is what you get. Remember that old Roots Web program? It was what you see is what you get. No, get. That's the E. Get. So I'm gonna do my scrolly thing. One of the other chapters has this. One of the other YouTube channels. These are on my patrons. Thank you. These are on my fans. Thank you. That's my scrolly list. Just ladies that just small words of encouragement every day. I really, really appreciate it. And my sinus drip have been so good for the last year. Like very, very few meds. The last year it's been awesome. All of a sudden now. Ah, just a second. I have been drained. I have been up all night coughing my brains out. Stupid drip is back. So anyways, I tried hard to put these stupid things in order. And I failed again. Every week I do this. I'm gonna be more organized. I'm gonna be more. Nope, 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 nope. So, Victoria Roberts to wed a wicked Highlander. And I like Regencies. We should do a Regency read through. And look, naked guy on the cover. To love, honor, and betray. 4.5 stars. Roberts has created the baddest boy of the Highlands for the third in her series. The action-packed romance has everything Roberts fans adore. A strong heroine who meets her match in a to-die-for hero. Deception, betrayal, love, and redemption. All Sabella Mackenzie wants is to be accepted by her family. She even became one of the boys to win her father's favor. But it's the woman her father wants to use. If Sybil marries Alexander MacDonald and finds the fabled Mackenzie seeing so, she will save her family. This should be simple for a girl who loves a dare. The problem is handsome, sexy Alexander. How is she to keep her promise when she begins falling in love with the enemy? Well, that's a good package. Do you remember you have to, the olden days, it was Fabio. Oh, good God. Guy was everywhere. Oh, Lord. He, I really should put these things in order. And I didn't. I married the Duke. 4.5 stars. The Prince Catches series centering the three sisters determined to marry a princess begins with a bang. Even slow start doesn't prevent readers from being enchanted by the sassy heroine. Since childhood, Arabella Caulfield has believed the gypsy prophecy that says she must marry a prince to find an heirloom that will lead her to a long-lost father. She only has days to meet her prince and marry him, and she must convince pirate Captain Lucian Westfall to take her to France. The new Duke of Lycombe is wary of the beautiful governess needing passage to his brother's castle. He fears she may be a spy sent by his family. Taking Arabella to her destination will keep her close enough for him to watch. When they are attacked by robbers, Lucian places his trust in Arabella and realizes she's for him. Aww. Oh, my nose. It's gonna be a long one. Oh, good God. The Knight's Temptress. 4.5 stars. Scott is known for her defying deft storytelling and her knowledge of Scottish history, customs, and legends. Did I do a Scottish one? I did a Scottish if then. I got a new idea. That's what I gotta do. Ian Coughlin, a knight in service to King James, is known as a fearless warrior. If he single-handedly rescues two ladies from local clans when a ruthless enemy of the king kidnaps them. Lady Lakina McFarlane has known Ian for years, but is stunned to see her as a grown woman. Following her rescue, their respect grows. Circumstances arise, and Ian must marry Lena for her protection. A marriage of convenience. There's another one for convenience. Put this down. Good research. See. Scott. Convenient. Another if then in the future. Okay? Sometimes a rogue. 4.5 stars. Putney's reputation as one of the finest writers of Regency romance is well deserved. She never shies away from different plots or atypical characters and writes wildly exciting adventures. We'll have to. Oh, I got it. Um, I may have already done a Putney thing a while ago, but we should do a China Bride reading. That's one of her like top tier ones. Um, when Miss Sarah Clark Townsend is abducted instead of her twin sister, she needs a hero to rescue her. Ooh, twins. 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 We could do a twin one. She gets a rogue who is much better than a Bow Street runner, Rob Carmichael. For Rob, retrieving Sarah from the kidnapper is simple compared to the wild journey to get her to safety. Whirlwind rides, hiding in the brush, staying at inns, posing as different people, a sea crossing, and a near drowning all bring these disparate souls together. Doesn't it doesn't spew adventure. A wedding dress does not spew adventure. I guess it spews love, I guess. Right? Oh, naked guy on the cover. 4.5 stars. Bailey understands not only the era with all its nuances, but she knows her character so thoroughly that readers are swept into her stories. Blinded during the war, Viscount Darley has come to terms with his condition, but his overprotective family hasn't. Fleeing their suffocating love and matchmaking schemes, Vincent reclaims his country home and independence. He and his trusted valet begin life in the old musty, dusty house. Miss Sophia Fry is a poor relation living on her guardian's sufferance. When she saves Vincent from being caught in an unwanted marriage, she is thrust out in the cold. Vincent offers her proposal. Marry him. Sophie can one day have her dream cottage and he will never have to worry about marriage again. A marriage of convenience! Naked guy on the cover! More research! Marriage of convenience. The list is getting longer every day. Okay. I like Regencies. I do. Especially if there's a little mystery involved. Just a little. I like my Regencies. I don't like contemporary romances. They just, the character angst is just, ugh. But give me a Regency any day. Uh, True Spies. Shanna Galen. True Spies. Shanna Galen. Let's see. Hmm? 4 stars. In her Lord and Lady Spy series, Galen adds her own Regency twist to well-known spy movies, with its engaging plot, snappy dialogue, and likable characters, including the thick-headed hero. The second in the series is a charmer. Lady Eleanor is bored with her life. She loves her daughters but is sick and tired of her husband's travels. She's ready to forge ahead with her own life, and she starts by planning an affair with a spy. Little does she know she's married to one. Winslow has kept his two lives separate. Few know of his clandestine work for the crown, and he can never let his calm wife learn his secret affairs. Then he sees her sneaking away with another man at a ball and suddenly realizes he's jealous. Whoa. Mistress at Midnight, Sophia James. The Harlequin. That's pretty good for a Harlequin to end up in the middle. Let's see. 4 stars. James' new novel is about disguise, deception, passion, and betrayal. This is a tale of two lonely hearts who find hope, love, and despite the lies and secrets surrounding them. Aurelia St. Hollow needs Lord Stephen Hawkhurst, a distant relation, to help her launch her sister in society. They strike a bargain and seal it with a kiss. Stephen is contenting his empty life with a proposition by the mysterious beauty. Stephen finds her loyal to family and her bravery in the face of heartless society intriguing. See what happens. Unraveled by the Rebel. Michelle Willingham. The sisters unite once again in the second installment of the Secrets in Silk Quartet. Somebody else did a Secret in Silk. I think it was Putney. Um, Juliet is only 14 when she shares her first innocent kiss with Paul, who is 5 years her senior. They write when he goes away to medical school, and eventually he asks her to marry him, but she stops answering his letters. When he returns as the doctor, she's attempted to convince him she'll never wed. Paul is unaware Juliet is carrying a dark secret. Her vicious neighbor, an earl, wants her parents' land and burns them out. Also wants Juliet. Paul is instrumental in helping Juliet rebuild as the Earl had had his father hanged. This doesn't sound like a regency. Um, Anna Campbell. Don't see it. I don't see it. Right, there's that. And let's look. There's okay. Nope, I'm over here. The blue. Naked guy on the cover. A Rake's Midnight Kiss, 4.5 stars. Known for her sexy, smart, and often scandalous romances, Campbell doesn't disappoint with the second in her Sons of Sin series. A Rake Midnight Kiss. Her intelligent characters and their sensual cat and mouse games add to the mystery and poignant emotions in this tale of a man's need for identity and a woman's desire for love. That's what happens when a person is up all night coughing their brains out. Sir Richard Harmsworth assumes a rakish air to hide his pain at being the bastard lord. There is a way he can prove he's the legitimate heir, finding the fabled Harmsworth jewel. Learning that the jewel is in the hands of a scholar's daughter, Miss Genevieve Barrett, Richard sneaks into her home intent upon stealing the heirloom. But when Guinevere catches him and challenges at gunpoint, he has no choice but flee. He later comes to the vicarage as her father's new student. Genevieve soon recognizes the flirtatious scholar as her midnight thief. Blackmail. Uh, the Lotus Place. Lotus. We are in red. That doesn't look like a Regency. Does not look like a Regency to me. Let's see what it says. Oh, it takes place in China. I thought Regency was England. My mistake? 4.5 stars. Lin has a reputation for crafting wonderful adventures, love stories, and set in an ancient China, brimming with atmosphere, customs, language, and history. Within the Pingkang Il, the pleasure district, scholars and imperial officials hobnob with well-trained courtesans. Yu Ling knows her place as a maid to the highly coveted courtesan Min, until one of Ming's suitors, Bei Hung, pays attention to her. Bei Hung appears to be a wastrel scholar, more interested in women and gambling than passing his exams. Yu Ying discovers he's far more than that when they are thrown together after a courtesan's murder. Ooh, a little mystery. Uh, yes to the Duke. Purple. A naked guy on the cover. 2 pluses. 4.5 stars. Kramer's gift is her innate ability to tell a story with unerring honesty. Janice Sherwood's parents pack her off to the Duke of Hasley's country estate to visit the Dowager, secretly hoping she'll snag the Duke. The trouble is that Janice has vowed to marry for love, and the Duke does not interest her. She's far more concerned about caring for the Dowager. She lives in a recluse life. When she first arrives, Janice meets handsome and arrogant servant Luke Callahan. He becomes someone she can count on to help understand why the Dowager is kept hidden and what the mystery surrounds the family. Luke recently learned that he's the rightful heir to the dukedom, but he needs proof, and Janice might be the person to help him get it. Interesting. Unraveled by a rebel. We did that. We did that one. The Ruin of a Rogue. Miranda Neville. Naked guy on the cover. Is that how they sell books? What naked guys on the cover? Neville's heiress versus fortune hunter plot has never enough clever twists and wittable repartee to be unpredictable. Annie Brotherton is a heiress who knows she's prey for every fortune hunter in the world. She dreams of finding a man who loves her for her mind and not her bank account. Marcus Lisco has gambled his way through the England and the continent only to return when he unexpectedly inherits a crumbling estate. And he needs the money, she's the heiress. Old plot. Old plot. Old plot. The trouble with being a duke. What's wrong with being a duke? Now, all right. So, the trouble with being a duke. Shouldn't there be a duke on the cover? I just thought I'd ask. 4 stars. Barnes uses a cultural love affair with Cinderella's story to her advantage. She crafts a fun, fast-paced, wish-fulfilling romance that tugs at the heartstrings. Anthony Hurst, Duke of Kingsborough, discovers that anything can happen at the Kingsborough Ball. When he dances with a masked beauty, he knows he must find a bride, and he thinks he's found her until she disappears. Ah, Cinderella! I think we did that for our fairy tales. I don't remember, but it sounds familiar. And our last Regency. The Sleeping Dictionary? I don't get it. I don't get it. 4 stars. India. This is too late to be a. The broad scope and years and decades history and politics of Massasauga will remind readers of Mr. Urus and Clavel. All right. Where is. Excuse me a minute. No special editing here. Oh. Have you read Clavel's? Or have you read. You know, there's. We could do a big book referral. I have a couple. I should do a big book referral. I'll have to write that down. We'll do a big book referral. John Jakes. Clavel, maybe Haley. Um, uh, Thornbirds, and Gone with the Wind. Shogun, the original. I don't know Mitchell too well. Um, oh, Outlander would probably fit in that too now. Books that are huge. As the only survivor of a tidal wave that destroys her village, Pam is taken by her rescuers to a school where she is renamed Sarah and given a job as a servant. She's smart and learns by first by listening and then by reading. However, when her dearest friend dies, she's once more on her own. Sarah moves to KHARAGPUR, hoping to become a teacher, but is lured into life of prostitution. Not good. All right. We are on to inspirational. D. The Promise. I wish my computer lighting was better. I really do. Ah. 4.5 stars. In the second installment of the Restoration series, authentic characters and challenges, beautiful and uplifting prose, and solid marital advice flourish. Tom Anderson is struggling to keep his unemployment a secret from his wife Jean and his father for fear of disappointing them. Tom longs for his father's approval as he has his whole life. Tom's marriage is slowly heading downhill in the same fashion that his parents' marriage did. His parents have experienced a restoration in the relationship, and they now worry about Tom and Jean. Can it be restored? To see a plain disappearance. Amanda Fowler. The third and 4.5 stars. Third installment of the outstanding Appleseed Creek series is a mystery with twists and turns and unexpected ending that will keep readers up until the wee hours. Chloe Humphrey has found her footing in the charming town of Appleseed. She has also found a boyfriend, Timothy Troyer, who's left the Amish a long time ago, but is not shunned by them. When they stumble upon a dead Amish girl, they are once again in the thick of things, much to the surprise of the chief of police. Chloe and Timothy must find the suspect before any more people are harmed or worse. It's another idea. I think we'll see this book again. That was a good idea. Use the sinus strip. What once was lost. 4.5 stars. What Once Was Lost has all the markings of a great first book in a series. Avid readers of Sawyer will revel in the characters who live at Bramble Asylum. Readers will want to find out how the lives of the poor have become intertwined and to experience the hope they've come to share. Christina Williams is carrying out the mission of her deceased parents by directing the Bramble Asylum for the Poor. When a fire makes it unlivable, Christina must transplant all of its inhabitants until she receives funding for repairs. Someone or something seems to be keeping the farm where they land from becoming a refuge. Several of the townfolk befriend the wayward occupants, but Christina fears the asylum will never be rebuilt. Well, let's hope it is. But I don't know. I always shy away from asylum books. I don't want people kept out of against their free will. You know, if it's a refuge, that's one thing, but that's asylum is a different thing. Have you heard the horror stories of asylums back in the day? Just ugh, ugh. Mm. What once was it? Yeah, was that one? So I skipped. Irene Hannon trapped. 4 stars. The second private justice novel finds its groove with this chilling, realistic tale. On one side, the story is frightening, and on the other side, the readers will root for the romance between Dev and Laura, which develops slowly. So, what is a romantic suspense doing in inspirational? When a librarian, Laura Griffin's 16-year-old sister disappears on a frigid Friday, leaving only a brief note behind, Laura resolves to do whatever it takes to track her down. That includes recruiting ATF agent turned PI James Devlin to help. But the deeper he digs, the more he begins to suspect that something sinister is at work on the girl's disappearance. How is this inspirational? I don't understand how that was inspirational. That should be another thing. Books that appear in the inspirational category that I don't get. I should write that down. Okay. Because sometimes there's a few, and I have no clue. Like, it doesn't reference God or self or stuff like that. All right. The invention of Sarah. The invention of Sarah Cummings. 4.5 stars. There is romance, secrecy, and a lot of laughter in Newport's Third Avenue Dream Story. The storyline flows evenly throughout the novel, and the life lessons of never try to be someone you are not. And the grass isn't always greener on the other side are well told. You see? There's a little inspirational in there. Sarah Cummings wants more out of life than being a servant, to rub elbows with the wealthy families in the area. She needs to be very clever in her disguise to make sure no one on the other side of the tracks discovers her truth. When a gentleman of wealth gets too interested in her, she can take the risk and tell him the truth of who she is, or will she lose everything she has taken for granted? Don't know. Uh, the miner's lady? Oh, Lord. I had this. I already owned this. We did that already. Ah, the miner's lady. In Peterson's latest Land of Shining Water novel, the reader can't help but draw comparisons to Romeo and Juliet. However, with not only one but with two pairs of star-crossed lovers. For generations, the Pantheas and the Vittorias have grown up learning to despise each other. So when Chantal Pantera and Daniel Vittori find out their siblings came to be in love with each other and even plan on marrying, they know they must try to stop it from happening. But when the two enemies come to realize they're more alike than they imagine, they decide that there's more important stuff. Love, God, See, now that sounds inspirational. The Tattered Quilt. 4 stars. The impact of first impression is well demonstrated by Brunster's delightful collection of characters in her latest half-stitch Amish quilting club story. Mending tattered lives, miraculous transformations, faith and friendship abound in this sequel that can stand alone. Emma Miller and her husband Leonard have an interesting group of students in the quilting class. There is Selma, a busybody who is challenging to befriend. Blaine, who is in the class because he lost a bet. Cheryl, who wants to fix her grandmother's quilt. Terry, a roofer who is hoping to win Cheryl's attention. Anna, a young Amish girl who would rather be exploring the English world. And Carmen, who is there to acquire information for a story on Amish teens. Everybody's got their own thing. There's another one. Laura France. Awakening. You don't need a naked guy on the cover to sell books. What you saying? 4 stars. In the second installment of Valentine's Legacy series, we are reunited with familiar characters from the first book and introduced to some new ones. Ellie Ballantyne returns home to Pittsburgh after graduating from finishing school. Her parents are on an extended trip and her siblings couldn't care less. So she decides to open a day school for the local young ladies. Among the students is the daughter of the Turlocks, who are slaveholders and whiskey sellers. Turlock wants to distance himself from his family and get out of the family business. He turns to Ellie and learns she has the power of being an abolitionist and the ways of the Underground Railroad. Interesting. That's an interesting twist that you did not see coming. So we did that, did that, did that, did that, did that. Did that, did that, did that. Winters of Wishes. Charlotte Hubbard. I just love this magazine. I could go through it for hours and hours. And I do actually preparing for this. Winter of Wishes. 4 stars. Charlotte Hubbard. The third book in the charming Seasons of the Heart series has wonderful, sweet characters who are at crossroads in their lives and are having trouble deciding which path to travel. Rhonda is feeling adrift. Her mother will soon be remarried, and her sister is busy being a newlywed, so she answers an Englisher ad for a housekeeper. Andy Lester is working all hours finishing his residency. His children and his elderly mother are alone a lot, and chaos is the norm. Rhoda is his lifesaver, bringing order and calm back to his family. But she is Amish and he is not. When the bishop orders Rhonda to stop working for him, Andy seriously considers converting to her way of life. Okay. Interesting. Fire with Fire. Okay. We have entered the teen section. So we will go on with teen. Fire with fire. What did I? Okay. Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. 4.5 stars. The duo Burn for Burn reunites for sequel every bit as compelling. Han and Vivian's greatest strength is their rotating narration. Kat, Mary, and Lila extracted a revenge plan that they thought would right the wrong of their nasty classmates, but things went a little too far and now they're coping with the fallout and keeping secrets. I saw this one. Uh, there's that one. I thought maybe I didn't. What is that? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And this. Okay. All right, let's do this in order here. Maggie Stevens. These books are still sought after. People still read these books. They're still good. They're still relevant. They're still very, very popular. 4.5 stars. Second in her Raven Circle is as gorgeous and amazing as the first. Each sentence is lovingly crafted, and you'll savor every line. As a sweltering summer in Henrietta unfolds, Rowan's dreams become more reality as he refines his power of extracting objects from them. Meanwhile, Blue is dealing with her feelings for Adam and Gainsey and that pesky omen that she'll kill her true love. Adam's trying to adjust to life away from his abusive dad and that deal he made to wake the ley lines. Then there's the mysterious and violent Mr. Gray to contend with, not to mention the copy of Gansey's Camaro keys that Rowan procured from his subconscious. Interesting. These are so popular today. So popular. Little on the other side of town. I thought I would include this. I'm thinking about doing an if then on this. Um, because there's so many of them in this magazine. There's so many authors that write this stuff, and I think it'd be poignant to point them out. But anyway, two boys kissing. 4.5 stars. Thought-provoking, poignant, and beautifully written above all is unbelievable important book for anyone who's struggling with identity, love, and loss. Different boys, different towns. Craig and Harry aren't a couple anymore, but their goal is to break the world record for the longest kiss. Peter and Neil are a couple, and Avery and Ryan are figuring out what it means to be a couple. Cooper is out, rejected and desperate alone. Their stories are told to the generations of those before them who died for love that binds them together. Interesting. Interesting. And Burning Sky. 4 stars. After years of writing the historical romance crowd, Thomas makes the move to young adult, and the resulting novel is not to be missed. The first of a trilogy, the novel combines a magical realm, the 19th century England, and an adorable romance. Ilion the Seaborn has the potential to be the greatest mage seen in millennium. Prince Titus is aware of the prophecy that leads to his own death and to the end of the occupation of the nation he loves by tyranny that shows no signs of improvement. Ilion and Titus will come together, however, unwillingly to save their people and the only home they've ever known. Interesting. Is that all the teen? Alright, we did that. We did that. We did that. We did that. Oh, two more. Rose Under Fire. 4.5 stars. In her follow-up, Code Name Verity, Wine explores the experiences of women trapped at Ravensbrück concentration camp. After a somewhat slow start, the author manages a neat trick of conveying an enormous amount of historical information while providing a nail-biting edge of your seat plot. American ferry pilot Rose Justice is captured by the Nazis and sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp, where she becomes part of a community of women, including a group called the Rabbits, upon horrifying medical experiments are carried out and who are simply trying to survive and hoping to get their story out to the world. Interesting. And, the only section that's not indexed in this magazine is the teen section. And I do not know why. I do not know why. The Coldest Girl in Town, Holly Black, 4.5, 4 star. Just when you think vampires have been beaten to a pulp, Black creates an in-depth world filled with horrifying villains and a strong kick-ass lead. Did you know? And it's like in the very primal stages of development. I mean, right now it's just an idea, but there are snippets out there that Sarah Michelle Gellar is interested in bringing Buffy back. Now, if we could bring Charmed back, if we could bring Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis back, that'd be awesome. In Tanya's world, vampires are quarantined in cold towns where the eternally beautiful run free. When Tanya wakes after a party to find her classmates slaughtered and her ex infected, a mysterious vampire on the run insists the only way to save themselves is to escape into Cold Town. But this utopia has a darker secret and higher stakes than Tanya anticipated. Interesting. And our last teen fangirl. See if it's bigger over here. That's a little bigger. Fangirl. 4.5 stars. Rowell crafts technically multifaceted characters with the edge and wit. Fangirl is smart and typical, and even though the fanfiction aficionados might not be impressed by Kath's electric opus, it doesn't detract from the novel's complexities. Kath and her identical twin Ren are college freshmen. Ren is outgoing and ready for college experience, and Kath is more comfortable staying in her dorm room, writing tremendously popular fan fiction. The hitch is her roommate Reagan and Reagan's maybe boyfriend Levi, who won't leave Kath or their room. Kath worries her relationship with Ren will never be the same, and there's where her writing professor, who thinks Kath is capable of way more than fan fiction, and her new unresponsive dad is maybe falling back into unhealthy habits. Possible. Let's move on to mainstream fiction. Good one. The movie. 4 stars, 4.5 stars. The final book of the Brennan sisters trilogy is the best one yet. The anxiety and tension that the sisters face while grappling with their mother's death is poignantly portrayed. The tough moments and balance with beauty and support of caring family. Sarah, the youngest of the Brennan sisters, has struggled to keep her marriage intact despite her suspicion that her husband Boone, a professional baseball player, may be having another affair. Left alone to care for their 2 children while Boone travels, Sarah is stressed to the breaking point. When another career change for Boone adds to the tension, Sarah needs to decide whether to forgive him once and for all or to end the relationship. I'm pretty sure that was a movie. Two of a Kind. Yanzildis McDowell. I can't. There it goes. 4.5 stars. Honest and engrossing, this novel explores the intricacies of unexpected attraction, falling in love after losing a spouse, and combining 2 resistant families. In the decades since she lost her husband, Christina Connolly has found happiness raising her daughter and managing her small decorating business. But regardless of this happiness, Christina has yet to find the spark again. And the last person she expects to feel it with is off-putting and somewhat egotistical Dr. Andy Sturm. After a difficult first encounter, Christina and Andy's lives become together when she agrees to redecorate his home. Ah, so he was attracted to her, and he used it as an excuse to get to know her. There you go. The Returned. Jason Mott, 4 stars. Thought-provoking Mott's well-written debut novel has a fantastic hook. One might expect a flashier but more action-driven plot to ensue, but the novel is mostly a quiet character study of the Hargroves, save for a gunshot-riddled climax. Lucille and Harold Hargrove. Sorry. Hear the talk on the news of the returned people coming back to life who died months, years, decades before. Close Encounters. In 1966, but when their 8-year-old Jacob, who drowned in 1966, shows up on their doorstep, the crisis hits home. Problematic Harold believes Jacob is not his son, but instead a convincing facsimile. Kind-hearted, God-fearing Lucille is sure he's a miracle. As more and more returned appeared all over the globe, the ominous government of Buell starts holding them into internment camps. Why? I don't want to know. The Gallery of the Vanished Husbands. 4 stars. Natasha Solomons. The Gallery of Vanished Husbands reads like a quiet domestic mystery, a romantic drama rolled in one. Protagonist Julie is at once tragic and engaging. The disappearance of her husband makes her sympathetic. Juliet Montague's gambler husband disappears one day, leaving her to care for 2 children in a conservative Jewish community in England. Since only men can divorce women, she is trapped as an iguana, a woman without a husband yet unable to remarry. On Juliet's 30th birthday, she meets an artist who paints her portrait. She quickly falls in love with his group, eventually opening up an art gallery with them in New London. The new lifestyle brings her a sense of freedom, but brings her community shame. Well, she needs to divorce her husband. Contemporary romance. The Derby Girl. Four and a half stars. Morgan's second Getting Physical novel is utterly unconventional and wonderfully smart, demolishing readers' expectations with a zany, deeply sympathetic characters and a charming, irreverent style. Gretchen Badgerton may not be like many other women in Pleasant Park with her mirrored tattoos and her devotion to roller derby, but like every other woman in town, she can't help but swoon over the irascible and irresistible Dr. Jared Fine. Despite having been in Pleasant Park for some time, Jared still feels like an outsider and a fraud, haunted by his past mistakes. But when Gretchen stops to help Dr. Fine with a flat tire, Jared finds a woman whose tough, feisty exterior hides a heart of gold. Okay. The Sweetheart Bargain. Love with a dog. Hey, at least they both got clothes on. 4.5 stars. Jump readers Jump gives readers with another steamy romance. The Sweetheart Bargain features two strong-willed, albeit damaged leads, a supporting cast of wonderful, colorful characters, a beautiful beach town, and a story that will have readers laughing and then crying. Olivia Lynn Scott has come to rescue Bay, Florida to start over. On the heels of her divorce and inheritance from the birth mother she never knew, she heads to the tiny beach town to learn more about her roots. She wasn't expecting to run straight into love and lust with a sexy neighbor, Luke Winslow, ex-pilot. Luke is a bitter man after a helicopter crash stole his sight and the life of his best friend. He is intent on ignoring the world, but when an abandoned dog comes knocking on his door, forcing him and Olivia to spend time together. Aww. A dog brings love. Aww. Uh, that. For the love of magic. 4.5 stars. Rekindling and reconnecting themes are consistently sharing in Chapman's newest Spellbound Fall series. The protagonists Titus and Rana Oceans have been married for 40 years, but a potential crisis drives a wedge in their relationship. Forcing a potentially scary development, all too human, Rhaenys decides to leave Atlantis and her powerful and magical husband Titus to get some breathing room. Raina purchases a small cottage in Spellbound Falls, very near her son and daughter. For his part, Titus can't figure out what is up with his wife, but he is determined to win her back. So maybe a little courtship is in hand there. We'll see what happens there. So, that. Just like Hope Flames. J.C. Burton. I expect her to be in the paranormal section, not in the contemporary romance section. It's just weird seeing her with a regular romance book. 4.5 stars. Hope Flames is immediately engaging, featuring characters who are easy to fall in love with. They are flawed in ways that make them endearing and easy to relate to. Emma Burnett has a horrible history with love. After a devastating relationship, Emma returns to home in Hope, Oklahoma for a fresh start while making her dream of opening a veterinary clinic a reality. She is really not looking for love, but that's exactly what when she's most likely to find it. When gorgeous Luke McCormick brings his injured police dog to the clinic, sparks fly immediately. Aww. Dangerous curves ahead. 4 stars. Jamieson's latest is a wonderful tale of love coming in all shapes and sizes. Her excellent storytelling with contemporary feel charms the readers. After kicking her critical ex-boyfriend to the curb, full-figured Ellis Garrett has started anew. She now runs her own clothing store. When she bumps into Detective Mike Edwards at a cafe, he sees He is the last person she thinks she needs to see, especially since she still harbors a crush on him. But Mike is hooked. The beautiful, curvaceous brunette makes his blood boil in a good way. Uh, don't fall, don't fall. Linda L. Miller, Big Sky Wedding. This new condition to Miller's Parable Montana series features plenty of old faces, but also some new charming ones. Zane Sutton has had enough of Hollywood. At 34, he's ready to settle down at Hangman's Bend Ranch. I would change the name. Uh, when he purchased a few years ago with his brother Landry. His first meeting with neighbor Briley Parrish lets him know she has no use for actors. Barely settled in, Zane takes in his 12-year-old half-brother, and it's not long until Landry shows up too. Briley has made a huge success of her business, decor galore, and would gladly marry if she could find a man half as loyal as her dog. Okay. Ah, The Homecoming. Obviously, I wrote down the wrong page. So I don't see it. I don't want to. Hold on. The homecoming was right in front of my face. um, Madeline lives by her spreadsheets and highlighters, but her world gradually shifts on an axis after she meets Luke in London's appealing first entry in Pine River series. Realtor Madeline Pruitt is shocked to hear she has inherited a one-third interest in a ranch in Colorado from her father she never knew. Even more appalling is the news that she has two sisters she didn't know about. On the way up the mountain to Homecoming Ranch, she has a flat tire that Luke Kendrick happens to fix. He's charmed by her smile, but that smile loses its glimmer when he discovers his father has lost the rights to Homecoming Ranch and she's one of the heirs. Conflict. Love interest. Conflict. Gentle on my mind. The middle one. Fox's latest is a heartfelt romance set in tranquil town of Caribou Crossing. Brooke is wonderful, flawed, very real, and very relatable, and the romance between her and Jake is genuine and sweet as their attraction is intense. Just as ex-alcoholic Brooke Kincaid has gotten her life together, a man on a Harley crashes through her white fence and into her life. Cop Jake Brannon is wounded and in need of a cover. He is also handsome and full of raw masculinity, and that stirs feelings inside of Brooke that she thought had disappeared. See what happens there. And our last one, the hero, Robin Carr. 4 stars. A touch of danger and suspense make the latest Carr Thunder Point series a powerful read. The book misses being a keeper due to an evil character who is less than believable, and an ending that is resolved too easily. The cultish commune where down and out Devin McAllister felt safe has changed, so she takes her daughter and flees with little money and no plan. When she gets taken in by a semi recluse from Thunder Point who says he's paying forward a kindness, Devin's life takes a turn for the better. Football coach Spencer Lawson is drawn to Devin even as he tries to deal with the death of his wife and raising a son. Devin's old life soon catches up with her when her daughter is kidnapped. Oh, good God. Okay. Let's move on here. Romantic suspense. The Protected. Now I expect to see her also in Paranormal. 4.5 stars. An excellent addition to the FBI Psychic series, the story showcases Walker's talent. Her writing just gets better and better. Her characters are complex and multi-dimensional, both the guys and the women. Her plot twist is very interesting ways, never giving fans the feeling that they've read this before. The sex is sizzling but never intrudes on the plot. Vaughn has taken all the leave she can afford to recover from her last case. She gets assigned an easy gig monitoring a kid and a guardian. The kid is talented psychic, the guardian an unknown but a hot-looking one, and someone is in for them. Gus has been on the run with his nephew Alex for several years. He's a little suspicious about the gorgeous new neighbor and not ready to uproot Alex again and run for it. It doesn't take long for trouble to screw up Vaughn's assignment. There are definitely people after the kid. They are psychic and they are ruthless. See what happens there. Declan Cross. Now let's see. Declan Cross. 4.5 stars. Neger's beautiful flooring and skillfully narrated novel is rich with dialogue that emphasizes the sights, sounds, and culture and panoramic views of Ireland. Her characters consist of old friends and new, along with a villain or two, and they are all profoundly perfect in their portrayals. FBI agent and lovers Emma Sharp and Colin Donovan are in Ireland for a much needed break when chaos erupts. A decade-old unsolved art crime resurfaces and the arrival of a hometown girl, Julianne Mahoney, seems to be the catalyst. Julianne has come to Declan's across Ireland for reasons and suddenly is thrust in the midst of a stark conspiracy. Ruthless. Deborah Webb, 4.5 stars. Webb's next installment in her Faces of Evil series is not only a treat for fans, but is going to provide some chills. Jess isn't just a hard-edged and savvy investigator with tumultuous background. She's also a vulnerable woman who's not always sure of the personal decisions she makes. When Chief Deputy Jess Harris receives the photos of three unknown female victims, she knows that the player is haunting her. The only thing distracting her from a single-minded pursuit are the mysterious disappearance of Birmingham children at the hands of the man in the moon. Now another child has gone missing. Jess is determined to bring her home safely and end the man's rampage. Juggling her current investigation with the ongoing attempts on her life is more than enough to handle until a pregnancy scare. Oh, good God. Really? Is that a little much for one book? Oh, I know I saw this. Against the Mark. Martin Rains of Wild Canyon series has hit the bullseye again with a first-class action adventure. 4.5 stars. When a dear friend asked Tyler Brody to look into the death of Haley Warren's estranged father, the hunky detective isn't sure what he wants more, to find the right answers or to land the stunningly beautiful Haley in his bed. Haley's stepmother swears that her father was killed for getting too close to the resolution of an ongoing case, and she enlists Haley's aid to find the answers. They want Ty to prove the explosion that killed him was no accident. See what happens there. So let's see. We did that, we did that, we did that. We did that. Another one for our potential motorcycle if then. Ashley, Kristen Ashley. 4.5 stars. Talk about your rising star. Now quickly published by Forever, Ashley is quickly making a name for herself as an author who delivers devastating hot alpha and arrogant heroes who ooze testosterone. For a year and a half, book editor Gwendolyn Kidd has been having a torrid affair with a stranger. He slips into her bed at night and slips out in the morning. Then Gwen's sister Ginger illegally actions place Gwen in crosshairs. Gabe Hawk Delgado has his own security business. He's been monitoring Gwen more than she thinks. When Gwen comes under attack, he saves her. Hero to the rescue. Nowhere safe. Nancy Bush. 4.5 stars. The familiar characters of the Laurelton Police Department and most prominently Detective September Rafferty are back in Bush's latest novel. A master at the craft of suspense, Bush doesn't disappoint with an intricate plot and diabolical villain. Detective September 9, Rafferty is back at work after an injury to her shoulder when a case she is working on yields another victim. Suspected sexual predators are being targeted and murdered in brutal ways, and her stepbrother Stephen Harmack is the latest victim. Now 9 trails a killer who is calculating and cold as they come. And our last High Country Rebel, 4 stars. Realistic characters are the foundation of this romance and a refreshing read with characters that start out broken but put one another back together with love. Aww. Former Navy SEAL Talon Holt has come home to be with his ailing mother. He soon becomes apparent that Talon is the one who's struggling with PTSD. Getting caught in a devastating snowstorm puts Talon in an even more vulnerable state. Paramedic Cat Edwin not only saves him physically, but helps him heal emotionally, too. Okay, let's move on to mystery. I don't think I have this one. Let me look. Okay, let's just do this last one here. For Regency, I missed one. Never Kiss a Rake, 4 stars. Stewart is back with an absorbing gothic romance full of deadly secrets and shocking passion. While our heroine's plucky and determination are consistently admirable, her real-life triumph in creation of heroes steeped in fascinating historical details. Reduced to poverty and mired in scandal, Byron E. Russell is determined to rescue herself and her family by finding her father's murderer. She disguises herself and becomes a housekeeper in the home of Adrian Burton, Earl of Kilmartin, her father's business partner, and the prime suspect in her investigation. But nothing about Kilmartin is what Brittany expected. From Adrian's hate-filled marriage to a cunning and beautiful woman to the seductive Earl himself, who sees past her scars to her very soul. Okay, now we'll move on to mystery. On to mystery. Years ago, the only section I ever paid attention to was paranormal. Paranormal, Regency, and then I slowly got more mystery, more mystery, more mystery, more mystery, until mystery has been it for a while. But I still do paranormal. If you haven't seen my J.R. Ward Black Dagger Brotherhood uh videos, or my Laurel Cave videos, or any of my videos, go watch them all. There's over 1,000 videos out there, and nobody knows I exist. I would like somebody to know I exist. How the light gets in. I just had it. I literally just had it. I've lost my marble. We should do this series for the podcast. How the Light Gets In, 4.5 stars. Penny, Quebec set Inspector Gamache novels concentrate on psychological underpinnings of crimes and are among the strongest and most fascinating books being written. Each mystery has an overarching story about the honorable inspector defying danger and suspicious colleagues. A friend of Myrna Landers, a Three Pines bookstore owner, disappears. The missing woman had hidden her identity as one of a set of world-famous quintuplets for years. When she is murdered, Gash must find out if her death concerns her parents or her past. Meanwhile, at work, his department has broken up and all but one of his trusted force are scattered through other divisions. There seems to be no hope. Even his retirement will satisfy his enemies. Oh. Now, I just had it. If it hasn't aired, it might have already aired. Yeah, I think it already aired. I just did this book the other day. Literally just did the review of it. We are doing Catherine Coulter's FBI series on the channel. And for a few number of years, 1, 2, 3, 4, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. She started writing 2 books a year. She would do Sherlock and Savick, and she would do the Brit series. And we just literally started the Brit series. What was it? I did Bombshell, and then I did this book, and then we're gonna do I'm just starting the next one. I think it's Power Play. And then we'll go back to the other FBI, the Brit one. We're gonna rotate. And we just literally did this the other day. This is introducing our new Nicholas Drummond, a British guy. And he comes to the United States because a coworker of his was killed. And there are extenuating circumstances to her death. And she may or may not have taken some money, but she had reasons. And he gets to meet Sherlock and Savick, and they work with them during the case. They work kind of sort of separately and together for a few things, but it's almost like 2 separate cases there for a while. But it's all one case. It's all one book. So this says 4.5 stars. In a spin-off from her long-running FBI series, Coulter collaborates with fellow thriller writer extraordinaire Ellison to launch a new series featuring Scotland Yard Inspector joining forces with the FBI. And at the end of the book, he joins the FBI. He leaves Britain altogether. Scotland Yard DCI Nicholas Drummond has dual citizenship in the United States and Britain, but his family is old and very wealthy. When Nicholas hears that his colleagues and ex-lover Elaine York has been murdered in New York, he catches a flight out. Elaine was in charge of the Jewel of the Lion, the traveling exhibit that includes the Koh-Noor diamond. Nicholas' American uncle Bo is in charge of the museum security. So when Bo calls and says that the Koh-i-Noor has been stolen, or has it, there's your hook. You are led to believe, and the characters are led to believe, the diamond has been stolen and been replaced with a fake. That's a little spoiler. That's your little twisty there. And the next book, if you have not watched any of my Eve Dallas, go and watch my Eve Dallas. All 60 plus videos, because I did them. The receipt. Yep, I bought this book and Final Cut together. Yep. So, if you haven't seen my... Come here. If you haven't seen my Eve Dallas, start Naked in Death, Glory in Death, Immortal in Death, they're all out there. Eve Dallas is a lieutenant with the New York Police and Security Department. Are you comfortable now? And her partner in the police is Peabody. Her husband is Rourke. The Somerset is the major domo. Whitney is the guy in charge. Mira is the department shrink. Feeney is her old mentor, and now he heads the EDD. McNabb is Peabody's significant other. He's also a detective in EDD. And Nadine is a reporter and friend, and she's also a book writer. And Mavis is our rock star friend from the grift, and we keep get reminded of that over and over and over again. We are moving in. We just did book 60 the other day. I did all 60 books plus the in-betweens, the novelites. So I did them all. If you want to read the entire series in order, follow my videos. Who did I leave out? Nadine. Well, we have Charles Monroe, our licensed companion, and his doc. They get up and promises. We haven't gotten that far yet. So, 4.5 stars, Thankless in Death. And oh, by the way, I just thought I'd mention this. Not only do I have all of the books, in the beginning, the books came out in paperback. And they decided, when they listed them, they put them out in hardcover for large print. And the large print is missing. She updated it a few years later. So the paperbacks are accurate, and some of the audiobooks are accurate too. But the large prints that they did back then are inaccurate. And then for the anniversary, for one of her 50th anniversary maybe, they decided to reissue the first few in hardcover. So I've got like the paperback of the first one and the hardcover of the first one and the audiobook of the first one. I've got multiple copies of all these books. I've been through them a couple times for videos. But are you having fun today? So anyways, you've got to check all that out. Lieutenant Eve Dallas will never be a people person. Her slow elevation to allowing friends and loved ones into her life and heart and life has left an important subplot of this outstanding series. Yes, Eve is not very good in social situations, and they are hysterical as all hell. It's days before Thanksgiving, and Eve is stressing about the upcoming awards ceremony honoring her and arrival of Rourke's extended family. Oh, I love the family ones. And I probably featured this in my If Then Thanksgiving version. Then she gets the case of the Reinholds, who were shockingly murdered at home. Shockingly, it quickly becomes apparent that the killer is missing son Jerry, who not only slew his parents but stole their money. Oh, good God. I hate this. Jerry is just an AH. He's an AH, 100% an AH. He beats his fans with a baseball bat. But even her awkward situations and the ceremony, and Nixie Swisher sees them get this stuff. If you haven't read this series, you've got to read this series. It's awesome. Um, why is it the books I always want are at the bottom of the pile? I just saw it. Oh yeah. The Wrong Girl. Hank Phillip E. Ryan, 4.5 stars. Winter in Boston and surrounding environs sets the stage for a chilling novel of murder, kidnapping, and deception. Ryan's gift for storytelling excels in sophomore entry in the series. When newspaper reporter Jane Ryland is approached by an associate to find the truth regarding the woman's birth mother, she agrees, not realizing she's running headlong into danger. As Jane looks into the practices of the adoption agency, her suspicion that is reuniting children with the wrong parents ring true. Her position at the paper is tenuous and she needs a big stir. Soon Jane is called oh shoot. It's called to a murder scene that could be the break she needs. Detective Jake Bergen is there with the victim and two small children, and apparently there's a missing baby. Although their investigations are separate, both are stonewalled by the connected to the agency, and Jane's life is threatened. See what happens there. This has also become a TV series on Amazon Prime. And the guy they got playing Jack is awesome, or Reacher, should I say, is awesome. And my husband has started to read this series, and he's enjoying the heck out of it. And I keep telling him he wants to make a video. My husband is awesomely funny. You put the camera in front of him, and he freezes. Off camera, he's hysterical. On camera, off camera, you would know he was related to the DeLuises. On camera, he's solid and he tries to be funny and it just doesn't work. Never go back. 4.5 stars. Just to read the 18th Jack Reacher adventure slowly, it can't be done. The action and twists start early and don't let up. Plus, there's quite a bit of humor sprinkled amidst the mayhem. When Jack Reacher travels to Virginia to meet the voice on the phone at the army base that he used to run, the trouble starts. He just wanted to take Susan Turner, the new commanding officer, out to dinner, but she's in jail accused of embezzlement and he's reinstated and immediately accused of murder he supposedly committed years ago. The charges against him and against Turner seem trumped up best, but Reacher's really thrown when he's informed that he might be a father too. Oh, good Lord. We'll see what happens there. Mortal Arts, Anne Lee Huber. The working relationship between Lady Darba and Sebastian Gage continues to become increasingly personal in Huber's latest mystery. The setting is described in detail, bringing the 18th century Scotland to life. The characters are true to their time period, yet emotionally qualified as allows the readers to identify them. Lady Kira Derby accompanied her pregnant sister to Edinburgh for much-needed medical care. Although she would never admit it, Kira is excited to be in the same city as investigator Sebastian Gage. Yes, ma'am. While there, she plans to attend a wedding of an old family friend. When a local girl goes missing and the groom's brother becomes a suspect, Kira once again uses her knowledge to solve the case. What? What? Come here. 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 What's up? What? Hang out. You keep looking at me like that. Hang out a while. We just did. I just did. And you won't see it for a couple of weeks. It's a couple of weeks down the road, but if you've been watching the unboxings on Sundays, I found a new series, a new forensic series. it was just awesome. I didn't know it existed. So I might thinking about doing another forensics if then I did it a while back. And this lady is part of it. And if you haven't seen the TV show, was Bones, you might want to check it out. So this is Temperance Brennan, and I like the show a little bit better in depicting the this is my child here. Depicting the relationship between Bones and Temperance. I mean Temperance and Booth. But in the books it's more estranged. But I liked it better on the show. But in the books they're still estranged. They get together on and off, but it's a iffy relationship. So Temperance Brennan spends a lot of time on the road, but she especially gets her frequent flying miles in this book. Set mainly in North Carolina, the action takes of interesting turn as Tempe is sent to Afghanistan on a case. Reichs cuts Tempe no slack as almost all of the relationships in her life are hitting critical mass. The body of a teenage girl is found along a lonely highway, and after inspection, Tempe realizes it's murder. Finding the girl's identity is going to be tough, and the police assume she's an illegal immigrant who turned to prostitution. The only odd finding is the ID card of a prominent local businessman who died in a fire months ago. Then Tempe's almost exhausted ex-husband Pete arranges for her to go to Afghanistan to inspect several bodies as part of a court-martial. What makes the long trip bearable is seeing her daughter Kate, who is in Afghanistan. Trafficking of antiques and humans have become a deadly intersection, and Tempe has to unravel the connections. We shall see. We shall see. And Charles Todd, A Question of Honor. The latest Bess Crawford book from his mother and son team features a nurse working on the battlefields of France during World War I. The horror of this time is excellently portrayed, both fighting and for the families back in England. Bess was raised in India, daughter of colonels serving on the northwest frontier. In 1908, a respected officer comes back from England where he was escorting a wife of the regiment whose daughter had died. He is immediately charged with killing his parents in India and 3 people in England. The proof seems absolute. He escapes into the area controlled by the tribal leaders and assumed to have died. Years later in France, Bess learns that the man accused of murder may be alive and serving at the front. She's gonna investigate. Another lady that, where is it? I read this series and I waited years and years for the character to make it to computers, and the author dies. So if you're looking for a gumshoe detective, and in one of the other boxing videos that'll be up in a few weeks, there's a whole slew of gumshoes. These are books that took place in the 20s and 30s and 40s. No telephones, no DNA, no computers. Very, very gumshoe, old inspectoring type. And what's your face? Kinsey is the last gumshoe. And I waited and waited and waited for her to get to the computer age and to the cell phone age. And Sue Grafton dies. And we will never see Z. The books are in order. You can read them in order. It's really easy to follow. It's A, B, C, D, E, I, F, G. A for alibi, B is for burglary, C is for corpse, I believe. W is for wasted. Grafton's super popular private investigator, Kinsey Malone, gets drawn into a mystery series surrounding the death of a homeless man and another investigator. As we near the end of this exceptional series, Kinsey's gritty toughness and insightful detective skills are perfect display. Kinsey is only curious when a fellow PI is found shot to death. After all, he had a pretty sketchy reputation. When she gets a call from the coroner to come and identify the body of a homeless man who had her name and number in his pocket, she gets swept into the lives of the dead man's homeless family. More than that, she's trying to find out why the man named her as executor and sole beneficiary of a $500,000. Why, if his bank account was that fat, was the man living on the street. Though there may be reasons, PTSD, you never know. But we will never know what happens to Kinsey. We do know there was an outline written for Z, but she got really sick with the cancer. And we also know that at one point before COVID, they were maybe talking about a TV series, but that all disappeared. And Sue Grafton has specifically said she didn't want a ghostwriter, so we will never get Z. And I think we have covered all of the mystery. Um, that. Oh, nope. One more. Human human remains. Elizabeth Haynes. Oops. 4 stars. Haynes scores again with this creepy, introspective, psychological suspense tale. More along the lines of Hitchcock's suspense film than an action-packed thriller. The suspect's MO was definitely a fresh take on serial killers, resulting in an unusual plot and the opportunity to ponder what is a crime. Police analyst Annabelle leads a quiet and lonely life, poring over data on her computer while feeling alienated from her coworkers, taking care of her ailing mother and spending evenings at home with her cat. After discovering the decomposing body of her neighbor, who she never even noticed was missing, Annabelle becomes fixated on increasing number of unexplained deaths in the city. She's gonna investigate. And I think that's the end of history. There was no sci-fi this time, so we are moving on to paranormal. Dark Light Can, Christine Feehan. All those. And those. And those are Feehans. They're all Feehans. 4.5 stars. This latest chapter of Feehan's long-running exceptional series returns to the Carpathian Mountains and, as a bonus feature, a huge number of protagonists from earlier novels. Since their introduction, the Dragaseekas, Tatiana and his sister Basila, have been fascinating question marks waiting out to be explored. Tantiaza is, as it turns out, strong, resilient, and gutsy. While tracking a dangerous rogue wolf pack led by Sandru, Ferris Stalker returns to his Carpathian home. However, Fen is masquerading as a Lycan, hiding his heritage to avoid a death sentence. From the moment they meet, Fen and Tatiana know they are destined to be mates. Aww. Let's see. We should do this other series too. Um, if you invest in the Night Dark Hunters and the Dreamwalkers, and starts with Fantasy and Death and the rest of them over there. Uh, you got to be prepared for this one. Let me see something. Hold on a second. It's a pretty bad picture of all the Kenyans and more Kenyans and more Kenyans. But it's fantasy lover, night pleasures, night embrace, dance with the devil, kiss of the night play, seize the night, then midnight pleasures is a novel light, and so on from there. And you get to Acheron and his brother Styx. Now, it's good paper, a little dusty. Look at this. Look at this. Ginormous. 800 pages. 11,000 years ago, twin brothers separated as children were each forced into horrific lives with endless torture and rape of both body and soul. The sweeping novel is more of a coming-of-age saga than a romance, but the love story is intense. Fair warning, as with Ashran, the graphic violence and the suffering the hero endures is quite disturbing and very difficult to read. I can attest to that one. You know, you could go around. No, we gotta walk over the books, mommy. Um, Doomed from birth by the machinations of malevolent gods, brothers Acheron and Styx have barely even 7 years of siblings before they are torn apart. Come here. Come here. Where was I? They torn apart to start their own painful destinies. Although he's crown prince, Styx is at the mercy of his father's schizophrenic behavior, placing him in the path of those who would torment and torture him. Despite this, Styx retains his humanity and kindness. He also discovers love with a beautiful blind woman named Bethany. Bethany is more than she appears. She definitely is. Look at this. Huge! This thing is heavy. And if you haven't seen the Fire Starter Kit, you should see that too. I am waiting for the one book to come out as a single though before I get it. She's too much. She's too much. Immortal Ever After. Oops, naked guy on the cover. And it looks like one of the marks that our Dark Harner would have. Four stars. This book 3 in the Monster Mash series, but new readers will be able to pick up and start right away. The characters engaging and likable, victims of the same foibles the rest of us mere mortals have. The ceasefire between battling immortals couldn't last long, and so war breaks out again. Human surgeon Dr. Petra Rochbard is back in the thick of things and finds herself the main character in the Oracle's latest prophecy. Apparently, Petra's ability to communicate with the dead is a commodity once again, and when her ex-commander Galen Delph shows up out of nowhere, it's a major distraction to say the least. Her feelings of passion for the demigod never faded. Of course, the timing of his reappearance could be better, and maybe there's ulterior motives. See what happens there. And Twilight Hunger. Naked guy on the cover. In red. I never did get that one. Paranormal fans have a new voice to check out the debut of Ballinger's first terrific book in Executioner Underground series. Jace McCannon is a werewolf hunter and the best in his business. His hatred for werewolves is legendary, but Jace also harbors a dark secret. He is half werewolf himself. Jace works for the Execution Underground, which hunts down super rogue natural ability entities and destroys them. As a packmaster, Frankie Amato is angry and worried that a serial killer has invaded her territory. Determined to hunt down the killer, Frankie runs smack into the werewolf Jace. He's a little two-faced there. I don't have a picture of this. I couldn't find the book. I went through all of my McAllisters over here. I have like 30 McAllisters, and this one's not there, but I'm just going to do it anyway. The Art of Stealing Time, Kate McAllister. Second in the Time Thief series. The Art of Stealing Time is great. New readers may stumble a bit until getting a feel for the characters. Gwen has been taught all she knows about potions and spells from moms, Wiccans who are banned from the otherworld laws from teaching magic to mortals. When her latest indiscretion results in the kidnapping of a mortal woman, Gwen decides to hide them all in Anwen, the Welsh afterlife. But you wouldn't know it. Gregory Fott, member of the Watch, is hot on her heels. Okay. And the girl with the dragon tattoo. If you have not, I did the first 10 or 15 of these, with the Dragoneskis. We have the Arginos in the Sands, and we have the Dragoneskis in the Sparks, and we've got a naked guy on the cover too. But if, again, it's, alright, so, the Sands group drinks bagged blood, and the Dragoneskis drink bottled blood, synthetic blood. They bottle it like they did on True Blood. But then they have the Malcontents, which are the bad vampires who drink from the neck, and those are your two fractions. And sometimes she takes it a little too far. I think who did it? Oh, she did it. Miss Hamilton did it too. If put a vampire in a hot tub and get his stuff hot enough that you can create live sperm. That was a little much for me. That was a little toss, but it works for the series. This may be the 14th book in the Love It Steak series, but it's still as fresh as the first. Fans will be thrilled that Doug Kincaid finally gets his own book. After being devastatingly injured in a clash with the Malcontents, Doug Kincaid is more than ready to jump back into the thick of things. Before returning to active duty, he needs to get control of his injured hand. When he meets lovely Dr. Leah, his hand develops a mind of his own, and there's a burning sensation down the length of his tattoo. Leah is a trained scientist and has difficulty wrapping her analytical mind around the existence of vampires. See what happens there. Apparently I have this book. I don't see it. Oh, I see it. No special editing here. So what do you think? How to date? How to date a dragon. Naked guy on the cover. Bliss Russo thought nothing exciting ever happened in her life until her building caught on fire and she had to be carried out of the flames in the arms of a gorgeous fireman. Sure, her apartment is now in shambles and she'll have to start her huge work project completely from scratch. But at least her love life is finally looking up again. And he's a dragon shapeshifter. And our final one is Blood Bond. Lost my... 4.5 stars. Sadly, all good things must come to an end with this ninth and final and strong vampire novel. Aw. Following the death of her ex-lover Max, the fragility of Anne's life is driven home to Anna for the first time since becoming a vampire. Determined not to make another mistake, Anna and shapeshifter Daniel Fry decide to cement their relationship, but their joy is tempered by serious sudden illness of Anna's mother. Daniel and young John fly to France to be with Anna's mother, only to discover the vampire politics that followed them. Okay. Okay. Another one that I couldn't find, and I'm just gonna go through it quickly. It's a Wilkes. Those are over W's over there. We go alphabetically, and they're down there. I've put this on my wish list. I have discovered that I am missing quite a few books in my series. But Ritual Magic by Eileen Wilkes is 4.5 stars, and it's not pictured. So we're just gonna go. Relationships between mothers and daughters can be prickly, intense, which is certainly the case between FBI agent Lily Yu and her mother Julia. But things get especially disturbing when a magical attack destroys Julia's memories, reverting her to 12-year-old self. Lily Yu's wedding to Lupi leader Rule Turner is only weeks away. Jesus, they haven't married yet? So the pressures on Lily's mom, Julia, and Rule have been organizing, but during a 57th birthday celebration, the unthinkable happens. Julia loses all her memories and becomes 12 years old. Oh, okay. And that's the end of that. Let's just do a couple of Harlequins. I didn't do any research for them. There is. I just searched. You know. Maybe it's back here. I know I just saw it. I love this magazine. I absolutely love this magazine. I just search. I hear this. All right, here are your Kimmies. I don't. Let's see. At least 2 or 3 of them should be in the. But here are your Kimmies. It's the only group they ever advertise. It's weird. They should advertise all the groups. Let's see. Did you know there's a Harlequin for doctors. There's a Harlequin for sheiks. There's a Harlequin for billionaires. There's a Harlequin for help personnel, police, cops, firemen, EMS. There's a whole thing. Then there's a Navy SEAL Harlequin. Then there's a historical romance Harlequin. Then there's a vampire Harlequin. There's a Harlequin for every different genre. The Devil She Knows. Kira Sinclair. Four stars. Sinclair returns to the quaint, romantic town of Sweetheart, South Carolina, with the town's former bad boy Devlin Warwick dressed in a devil's outfit for the fall masquerade and determined to prove his hometown wrong. But when town good girl and wedding designer Willow Portis, with whom he shares a past, catches his eye as a sexy angel, she steps out of her innocent graces and into the handsome devil's arms. Aww. She should have just went in a wedding dress. Glitter and Gunfire. Cynthia Eden. And I expect Eden books to be in the porn section of the erotica section. That's what I equate Cynthia Eden with. EOD agent Cale Lang has been assigned to protect socialite Cassidy Sheridan, and he will do anything to get the job done, even if the woman he's protecting is doing his best to get rid of him. Cassidy's determined to catch the man responsible for kidnapping, torturing, and murdering her debutante friend, even if she has to bring herself to his attention. Playing bait. I can see it. And did I miss it? Harlequin American Romance, Harlequin Blaze, Harlequin Desire, Harlequin Intrigue, Harlequin Kiss, Harlequin Nocturne, Harlequin Presents, Harlequin Romance, Harlequin Romance Suspense. Here we go. Kimmy. Now, where was that page again? Did you mark it down? Because I didn't. Is that bad of me? Is that really bad of me? Damn, that was in the beginning, right? I'm gonna have to think of some stuff to do for this video is gonna take forever to upload. Alright, let's see. Sweet Temptation. Nope. Ah, here it is. This one. Phyllis Byrne. Kyle Ellison is being groomed to take over as CEO at his family company and is given the task of closing down a candy factory his father bought before his death. The factory is located in Candy, Ohio, the hometown of Nia King. Nia's grandmother was mayor of the town, and before she died, she had plans to save the factory. Nia is unable to find the plan, so she crafts a proposal to save the 2,000 jobs. How will her plans mesh with Kyle's? Bourne does a great job of tying up all the loose ends and crafting a memorable tale. Let's see. Until now. This one. Tamara Jackson has moved back to her hometown of Cleveland, Ohio with her son Michael after a divorce from Patrick, a man recently sentenced to 42 years in jail. Okay. Surrounded by friends, Tamara is reunited with Marshall Jennings, a reform player who broke her cousin's heart years ago. Fighting the mutual attraction, they get together anyway. I think we shall leave it at that. And oh, I think these are upstairs. I know I have, there's like 4 in the series, and I know I have 3. I didn't even look for it. It's upstairs in the erotica section. Burn. No, not really. It's not there's mystery up there too. Maya Banks. Oh, it's in the Banks section. That's where it is. It's all her books are. 4.5 stars. Banks brings the Breathless trilogy to a fast-paced conclusion. Ash McIntyre finds that even though he's not looking for a relationship, he realizes Josie is the one. He has seen the right woman make his business partners deliriously happy, so he commits himself to making Jodie's dream of successful art career a reality. Unfortunately, Ash's way of helping her is so over the top that the blowback when Jesse finds out is equally extreme. It's like Breathless, Burn. I forget what the other 2, but I know they're up there. I know they're up there. And back when we used to do the book conventions, they had one the other day locally, but I had something else to do that day. Otherwise, I might have went. It was a lot of cozy authors, and that would have been awesome. But this is where you went and met your author, spent a weekend. One of the Lindsay Sands does one of the Argenos during a book convention. So, anyways, that was September 2013. We got to get going with October. These take a long time to these take over 2 weeks to get together. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And don't forget to check out Star Trek recaps on Friday, and If Then Friday afternoons, and of course Flashback Money and my daily book reviews. I'm running out of shorts, so the shorts are going to end soon. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been through all 3 books I have, so there's nothing else left. So unless I find another one, I think my channel's going to go in the tubes because no one watches these longer videos. I wish people did. So have a good one.